Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to the Richmond Community Kitchen. I'm so excited to be doing this with you. It's a brand new platform for me, brand new platform for you too perhaps. So not quite sure how it's all going to work, but we are going to do our very best to have a good time together, to teach you some wonderful skills, give you some new recipes, and hopefully teach you something that you don't know. My name's Karen. I am a community kitchen facilitator for Family Services of Greater Vancouver. In case you're wondering how I got into this, I'm not really sure because my background is not food. It's just always been a lifelong passion of mine, something that I have always enjoyed. I used to cook with my mom, and it's something I really like. So over the course of the last 30 years, I've worked in restaurants, I've been a farmer's market vendor, I have a food company where I make lemonade syrup and sell it at the farmer's market, and just generally have become really involved in the Vancouver Lower Mainland food scene and have recognized that it's critically important that people have access to good healthy food, that they know how to cook it, and are able to do something with all the bounty that we have in Vancouver. So that's my goal for this course, for the kitchens that we're doing together, is to get you some great groceries, show you some simple, easy things to do with them, teach you how to do a little bit of scratch cooking so that you can feed your family food that they'll eat on a budget, because goodness knows we don't need to spend hundreds of dollars a week on groceries. We've got lots of stuff that we can do with a minimal amount of money, and that's important for all of us. So I am hoping that you will give me feedback through email. Maybe we'll set up a Facebook group that we can chat in, but please reach out to me. Let me know what you'd like to learn, what works for you in this platform, what doesn't work for you, and let's see what kind of magic we can make happen, okay? Anyway, so first recipe we're going to do together, I'm going to go on the assumption that you all know how to cook, and that you're competent in the kitchen, have a few basic skills. So I don't want to really get into how to do this, how to do that, but if you need to know those sorts of things, then as I said, please let me know. The recipe that you have is for a ground meat and sweet potato skillet. It's a really fast, simple, nutritious dinner that you can feed your family. Originally, the recipe was using ground turkey. We have set it up for you to use either ground turkey, ground beef, ground pork, ground chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breast, chicken thighs. You can pretty much use any kind of protein that you want. With what we're going to demonstrate today, I'm actually using vegan chicken, because some of my family members are vegetarian, and I chose this option so that they would eat, but I also gave me the opportunity to show you how to cut the chicken if you're not using a ground meat product. So hopefully we can work through this, you can learn a few things, and we'll go on from there. So here's the ground chicken patty, or the plant-based chicken patty I should say. And I'm just going to cut it up into little cubes, because you want to have it distributed all through the skillet when you make it. So that goes in there like that. I'm just going to set it in the bowl. This stuff's actually really good. It's made with pea protein of all things. So we've got the meat is chopped up. Now we're going to do the sweet potato. I've done most of it ahead of time, but what I wanted to show you, just a little kitchen safety thing. Once you've peeled the sweet potato, which you actually don't have to do, I don't like sweet potato peeled, so I peel them. You want to take your sweet potato, you want to cut a piece off the side like that, so that you've got a flat surface. That's really important, because if you're trying to cut it and it's wobbly, it's not safe. So nice flat surface so that it lays down. Then you're going to cut it into slices, keeping your fingers curled back so that the knife doesn't cut them. And then you're going to stack those. Now, if you're comfortable stacking them, that's great. If you're not, just do one at a time. Cut them into sticks. and then we're going to dice them into cubes. And those will go in to the bowl. The whole, you know, getting all your ingredients prepped ahead of time is called, in fancy French cooking, it's called mise en place, which literally means everything in its place. So, more sweet potatoes in there. And last one, if you wanted to make sweet potato fries, just cut them up like this, toss them with a little bit of oil and salt, bake them in a nice hot oven, and then you can have sweet potato fries. Okay, so there's our sweet potato all chopped up. Then we need to chop up the onion. Now this is my trick for cutting an onion, dicing it. I wish I could say it was my trick. It was something I learned off a chef that I admire very much. Her name is Karen Barnaby, and she's a Vancouver institution. So cut the onion in half. I always cut the top part off. That's where the green part comes out when it's growing, and leave the stem on, because what that'll do is help hold it together. Makes it easier. So peel off the outer skin. Maybe it'll make you cry, maybe it won't. Sometimes the glasses help. Some people it really bothers, some people it doesn't. So we're gonna peel that off. And then you see you've still got the nice stem end. So what that lets you do is bring your knife down almost to the stem. You can see how you get right in there like that. My fingers are curled back. Now I'm gonna hold it together because it's getting there. And then you just have to chop it. And you don't have to worry about holding it together. Right up to there, see, and all nice, and then you can just cut off there. No waste. So let's do that with this one. I'm also deliberately making a little bit more because the nice thing about this recipe is that once you've made the skillet part, particularly if you double it, you can set half of it aside in the fridge for a day or two, and then you can make stuffed zucchini, which is another really great, easy, kid-friendly meal. And by doing that ahead of time, you get 2 meals for the price of 1. So I'm going to show you how to do that today too. Okay, so there's our onions all nicely chopped. Next thing, fresh garlic. Fresh garlic can be a real pain to peel. It's very sticky. So what I do is take the end here, cut it off, get that out of the way, cut this end off here. Now if you've got a garlic press, by all means use it. I'm not a big fan of them because I have arthritis in my hands and I find them really hard to use. Clove of garlic, press down with your hand. That squishes it and the skin pops right off. So, there you go. And then you can dice that up, mince that up if you want, or pop it into your garlic press if you have one. Okay, so, and I am just gonna put the garlic, oh, my eyes are starting to water. The onions are getting to me here. And put the garlic in there. Now, we also need some pepper. That would be my child. I'm going to tell her I can't talk to her right now, and I will phone her back. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's another great chef hack that I learned when I used to work. I used to work in the high school teaching kitchens. Take your pepper, cut it off this end, cut off this end, pop out the core in the middle. Take your knife, cut it this way, open it up, and cut the ribs out. When you cut the ribs out like this, all your seeds come out in a nice big hunk. There is no waste. You get this beautiful piece of pepper. Safety fact, always cut your peppers on this side, not this side. The outside skin can be really tough and your knife can slip. So if you cut your pepper on the inside, then you reduce the risk of getting cut. Nobody likes to get cut. So we're also going to cut these into strips like we did the sweet potatoes. And then we're going to cut them into nice large dice. And then we're going to take the ends here and dice these. But see how awesome is that? There's absolutely no waste. And food waste, man, that's just not cool. In this day and age, we really need to watch our pennies, and food waste costs us money. I don't have any extra to spare, I don't know about you, but okay, so all our vegetables are prepped. I'm going to take a little bit of a side here just briefly to prep the zucchini for you so that you see how to make a stuffed zucchini. Take your zucchini, again, cut the end off where the stem grows. Cut your zucchini in half. Being careful because we're not dealing with a flat side. And then you take a spoon and you scrape out the middle. But you want to leave an edge because this is something you're going to stuff. So you scoop out that. See how I've done that? And you do the same thing on this side. Okay, now if you like, sometimes what I'll do is I'll set the zucchini down and see this one's pretty stable. This one's a little wonky. So what I'm gonna do is cut tiny little bit off on this side so that it sits flat. See that now? It sits nice and flat. Now we're not gonna use this. We're just gonna chop this up because we'll use it the next time you go to make your second meal out of this. So I'm gonna put that in a bowl and save it for later, okay? Now we're gonna go over to the stove and we're gonna crank it up and start sauteing all our veggies. So we'll head over here, turn on the stove, sort of a medium-high heat. We need, now if you're using ground meat, that's the first thing you're gonna do, is cook your meat. This plant-based stuff doesn't really have to be cooked because it is already, we're heating it through, so we're gonna start with cooking the vegetables first. I'm going to use olive oil. Olive oil gives you the best flavor. And when you're making something that's simple like this, that doesn't have a lot of ingredients, you want to make sure that your ingredients are as good as you can get. So olive oil is always a good thing to have on hand. So my first rule of sauteing veggies, hot pan, cold oil, that heats everything up. You can see the oil, it's starting to spread because it's thinning as it heats. You'll start to see a bit of a shimmer on the oil. That tells you that it's getting nice and hot. So we're gonna put in the peppers and the onions. You can hear them sizzling. Okay. Get that going. Makes a great sizzle sound. So I don't know about you, but I love the smell of onions frying. caramelized onions, I can eat them on anything. And I'm hoping to get to know you all a little bit better and learn what sort of things that you like and what you don't like, and how we can incorporate them into maybe what you'd like to learn how to cook, if that's an option. So we're just gonna give this a quick saute. Get that started. You don't want to brown them necessarily. Just brown them or cook them until they're translucent. When you first dice your onions and they're raw, they're what we call opaque, which means you can't see through them. And as they cook, they start to get clear. And I suppose if you actually held the onion out, you might be able to see through it. But that's literally what translucent means, is see-through. So you can see it's starting to get a little clear, a little transparent. Cooking away there. Okay, now we're going to throw in the sweet potato. I don't know about you, but that's another vegetable I really, really like. So, just keep. Shouldn't take long, shouldn't take more than about 10 minutes to cook these through like this. We're going to get the garlic in there. Garlic you add after, especially when you're cooking over high heat. Garlic can brown and burn quite easily, and when it does that, it becomes very, very bitter, and we don't want that at all. So I'm not going to put it in quite yet. The other thing you can do to speed the thing up, speed the process up, oh, we need salt and pepper. Forgot that. I'm a big fan of salt and pepper. I also like to taste my food while I'm cooking it. We're going to add some water. Just a little bit at a time. Now listen to that, eh? Kind of steam our veggies. If you really want to speed this up, pop a lid on. Suddenly it's very quiet. Look at it all steaming up there. So we're just going to let that sit for a couple of minutes and cook away. I